Okay, so now, like I said, we're going to do orthographic projections tonight. So go ahead and double click on AutoCAD on your desktop. Okay, so hopefully you had no problem there. Go ahead and click on Start Drawing. Okay. So your screen should look like this now. All right, there are several ways to do this. This is just one of many. Okay. One way of doing this is use construction lines. Now, to create a construction line, you need to type in XL, and enter. Then it's asking for specify a point. Just click anywhere on the screen. Now, notice it's kind of hard to control this. So if you hit the F8 button on your computer, on your keyboard rather, now you'll see that the line's either perfectly vertical or perfectly horizontal. Don't click yet. Is everyone able to do this? Okay. So right now, go ahead and make it vertical and just click on your screen and then enter. This line goes forever, infinity. I can't talk tonight either. It's an infinite line. Okay. Now we need to do this again. So type in XL, enter, and click maybe perhaps like right here. And we're going to make a line that's perfectly horizontal. Click and hit the enter button. So now you should have two intersecting infinite lines. Does everyone have that? Very good. All right, so if you look at exercise 5-1, for those who have the textbook, what is the overall length of the L-shaped block? Yes, sir. 1.5. Okay, so I'm going to use my offset command. Enter, type in 1.5, enter, click on this vertical line, and then indicate on this side. So make sure you indicate on the right side. Indicate means you're going to click. Click, and then hit the enter button. And you may want to zoom in some. You know how to do that, right, with the scroll wheel. Zoom in and pan, you hold down the scroll wheel, right? Very good. So what is the overall height of the L-shaped block? 1.5. So we're going to type in offset 1.5. Enter. Click on this line and then indicate above it. Click. Enter. So we've actually have created, a rectangle here, or actually a perfect square. Okay. Now we have to create our top view and our right side view, what we're forming here. So we're going to put in a dimension. I think I used 2. So let's type in offset. This is the gap between the views. I typed in 2, and I think I clicked here. I went above and clicked. And then I clicked here and went to the right side. Enter. Okay, remember now, this rectangle right here is going to be my front view. And then I made a space of 1.5 here. Or 2. I did 2, right? Did I do 2 or 1.5? I did 2, right. Okay. So now, what is the depth if you look at from the top view of the L-shaped block, what is the depth of the block? Also is what? 1.5. So type in offset 1.5, enter, click on this line, and then indicate above that line, click, and then come over here and click on this line and go to the right of it, click, enter. Now this may look confusing to you right now, but it's not. In a few minutes it's going to be crystal clear. So hopefully you have something like this. I may have made my gap a little too big, but that's okay. I can fix that later. I'm going to zoom. Yes, sir. I'm sorry?
I don't know why this box looks uneven.
Box that you're going at right now.
Like all the squares don't look the top.
They're not all the same. There was a 2 and
Right.
1.5.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So this is going to be 3D?
No, this is two-dimensional. This is 2D drawn, okay? All right, what I want you to do right now is I'd like for you to zoom in on this. Okay, look here. This is going to be the front. This is going to be the top. This is going to be the right side. This is the front. I want you to zoom in right here on this block. Okay, is everyone there? No? Okay. All right, so what I want to do now, pay close attention. I want to create a different layer. So up here under layer properties on this icon here, click on that. And we want to create a new layer. So right here on this little icon right here, click on that. And it wants the name. Go ahead and click in that space, and we're going to give it a name of, let's see, we'll make it, what do I want to call that? Do I want to call it continuous or ball? I tell you what, we'll call it object lines. Just call it object lines. And enter. Okay, so we've created a layer now called object lines. I don't want it to be white. So right here, click on this icon right here. And we're going to make it red. Click on red. Select OK. Now notice now that it's red. But we are not current in that layer. We are not current in this layer. To get current in this layer, we have to double click on the name of the layer. So double click on object layer. Now we are current, so every line that I make now is going to be red. Alright, so I'm going to close this out. So close this out here. And I'm going to start at this point right here to make my front view. So type in L, enter. And hopefully your cursor will snap to that point. You're going to come this way, and we already know what the length of it is. Click here. All right, now the line is following the cursor, right? Come up here, we're going to click on this point. Now, we're going to go this way, but we're not going to go all the way across. We have to actually give a physical dimension here. So it's going to be 0.75. Enter. Now we're going to come straight down like this, and it's also going to be 0.75. Enter. And then we're going to come this way, type in 0.75, enter, and then we're going to come back to where we started. Click on that intersection, do a right click, enter. All right. The reason I made it red so you can tell which one's the construction lines and which ones are the object lines. Okay, this is the object line. This is the front view. Okay, now this is our top view. Okay, now I know there's going to be an object line that goes all the way around. like this to begin with. So I'm going to go ahead and create that first. Yes, sir.
So how do we get that top view?
How did I get the top view?
Yeah, I missed all the offset part. I got lost there.
Okay, so this offset distance here, I made it 2, I believe, right? And then I made this offset distance 1.5. Are you okay?
I think so.
All right, so you should have a perfect square here. Should be 1.5 this way and 1.5 this way. All right, so type in L, enter, and Cassandra, we're going to click here, and then this intersection, click. Come up here and click on this intersection. Click on this intersection, and come back where we started. Click, right-click, enter. Now, we're not done with the top view because you can see 2 separate steps here. We have a top step and we have a bottom step. So we need to show this point or this line in the top view. Here's how you need to do that. Type in L, enter, click on this intersection and drag your line all the way up. Click, right-click, enter. Now we're going to trim this. Again, if you're behind us, don't worry, because I'm going to come to help you in a little while, and you can watch the video again. I just trimmed those 2 lines, or that one line actually. This is probably the most, except for doing a perfect cube, this is probably the simplest shape that we can possibly do. And don't worry, I'm going to do some more with you. All right, now we have to create our right side view. Again, the object line here goes all the way around. So we're going to select these 4 corners. Right-click, enter. All right. Now we need to, I'm panning here a little bit. I have to project this surface right here over to the right view, right side. Type in L, enter, and click on this intersecting point and draw a line all the way across. Click, right-click, enter. What do you think we have to do next? Trim. Very good. Type in trim, enter, select this line and this line, enter, and then select the overhang. Enter. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of the construction lines here. I don't need them anymore. So type in E. If you want to select them individually, that's good. You can also select all of them at one time. I'll show you how to do that later, but go ahead and select all these lines.
Every single one?
Yeah, all the white lines. And you're left with this. I hope that you're left with this. If not, you'll have it eventually. Okay, so I have the document open here, what we're going to actually do. Okay, so we're going to dimension this block. So we have 5 dimensions here that we need to place. How come I don't need to show a dimension in the top view? Can anyone answer that question?
Would it be redundant?
It would be redundant. Why is that? Well, because
we have them listed.
we have it in the right side view here, correct? Okay. So let's go and add these dimensions. Before we do that, though, I want you to type in DDIM, DDIM, and enter. We want to go ahead and modify the number of decimal places here. So select modify. All right. Now when you do that, go to where it says primary units. Actually, yeah, primary. How many decimal places do we have right now? The default is 4. I don't want that many. If you have the book open to that page, how many decimal places do we have? 2. So right here where it says precision, one down arrow here and select 2 decimal places. Then select OK. And then select set current and then close. Yes, Jonathan. Hang on to that thought, okay? I'm gonna revisit that with you. Just kind of watch right now, because it's important to get the video out of the way. That way, you have a video to watch later, and my other class has a video to watch, and I will help you. Okay? So just kind of watch right now. So up here, go back to right here. It says layer properties. Select this. And we are going to create a new layer. A lot of students don't like working with layers, but it's okay. Right here, select this icon right here, this one, to create a new layer. I know it might be hard for you to see. Click right there, and let's just type in dimensions here. And let's make it green. And you can pick this green, or you can come up here and pick one that's a little darker maybe. I'll select this one.
The darker?
It doesn't matter which one. Select OK. See, now it's turned to green, but we're not current in that layer. What layer am I currently in? Because of the little check mark, right? So double click on dimensions. Now we are current in that layer. Okay. Now I'm going to close this dialog box here. All right. So I'm going to dimension, again, if you go back and look at my drawing here that I did earlier, I'm going to put these dimensions in. You put the smallest dimension in first. That's the first dimension, and the larger dimensions are staggered out. All right, so up here on so this is new. We haven't really done this yet. Actually, hold down let's pan this up a little bit. You can actually zoom in some too if you want to. Okay? Now up here on your toolbar, select linear. All right? Now it wants to know a point. Click on this point, and then click on this point, and drag your dimension down. Do you see a dimension there that's floating? I hope so. Click. Okay, just hit the escape key or enter key, all right? Does everybody have a dimension there? I'm going to do that again. If you have a dimension, stay where you're at, okay? I'm going to undo this, so watch carefully. Go to linear, because it's a linear dimension. Click here, drag your dimension down, click, and just hit the enter button or escape. Now I'm going to do that again. Linear, click on this intersection, move. Now, what you don't want to do is this. It's not necessary to make a dimension that far from this one. You want to make your spacing consistent. So the first dimension that you placed, is a certain distance from the object line. Make that about the same amount here. About right there. Click. Okay? All right, so we've placed 2 dimensions. Now you may want to pan over and again zoom in or out, whatever is convenient for you. Select linear, click on this intersection, click on this intersection, and let's place it about right there. Now, if you want to move that dimension so that it's in the middle, click on this and you'll see these little grips come up. See these little blue boxes here? Click on this one and turn off F8. Make sure you hit F8, turn it off. I'm going to place this right here in the middle. Click. Make sure you put F8 back on though in a minute. Hit enter, hit F8 back on, so it's still ortho. Okay, let's see. Did I hit the F8 button? Yeah. Make sure it says ortho on down here at the bottom. Do you all have this dimension? Okay. If you don't worry. I'm going to come see you. Click on linear. Click here, here, and we're going to drag out another dimension and place it about right there. All right, now we need to put the depth dimension on here. Now you can put that in one of two places. You can put it in the top view, or you can put it in the right side view. If you put it in both views, then it becomes redundant. You have too many dimensions. It's not necessary to have all those dimensions. So let's put it in the right side view, because that's what I did on my drawing that I did earlier. So select linear, then select this point. Now watch this trick. I want this dimension to line up with my 0.75. You may have to zoom in. You see that line up here? Click. That means this dimension is lined up with this. It makes your drawing look very neat. Okay? I hope everyone did okay on that one. If not, I'm coming to see you. I promise. But if you know how to do it, help me. Because there's only one of me, like I've said many times. There are many of you. Okay? All right, the next example we're going to do is example 5-4 on page 247. So what we need to do is go back to our layer properties, and let's get current up here. You see this 0? This is our default layer right here. See the 0? Click on that one, double click on it. Okay, and then close it out. We are now current in that layer. So guess what I'm going to do? Type in XL, enter, and then specify a point. Okay, so it's either going to be a vertical line or horizontal. Let's make it vertical. Click and enter. Does everybody have a vertical line? It goes on forever. All right, type in XL, enter, click on the screen. Again, we're going to make this one horizontal. So you got to move your mouse around till you have a horizontal line. Click, enter. All right. Now, again, Mr. Morris made a cheat sheet earlier. If I go back to my cheat sheet, what is the overall length of this block? It's 3, right? And the overall height is 2.5, and the overall depth is 2.5. All right, so let's do this. Let's take this vertical line here and let's offset it 3. Type in 3, enter, click on this line, and then click on the right-hand side of this line. Click, enter. Now we said the height was 2.5, right? Offset. I'm only doing the front view right now, or the frontal plane. Click here and go up. Click, enter. All I did is I made a block that's 3 inches long this way and 2.5 up. Now I'm going to leave, I think I left like a 3-inch spacing between these views here. Okay? You can fix that later anyway. You can adjust all that later. But for right now, we'll make it 3. So I'm going to offset now. This is the gap between the views. Type in 3, enter, click on this line, go up, click on this line, go to the right, click, enter. Now we need to find out what, again, the depth of this is 2.5. So we have to offset that 2.5. Okay, so we'll offset this line, 2.5, and then this one. Okay, again, look what we have. This is what we have. This is my front view. This is my top view. This is my right side view. And this is the spacing that's between those views. Okay? All right, so I'm going to zoom in here on my front view. But before I start drawing anything, select layer properties, and we have to get current in the object line. So double click on this, okay, and then select the X, close out the box. So if you look at my cheat sheet, I go down 3, come up 0.5. Okay, I wish I did a split screen here, but I don't want to do a split screen. That might confuse people. So let me do this. I'm going to take a picture with my phone so I don't have to keep going back and forth between the two. Give me just a second. Won't take but a second here, good folks. All right, so I've taken a picture of that. So I'm not going to come back to this sheet here. All right, so all right, here we go. So make sure that we are current in the layer, which we are. So select line. Now I usually type in L, but you can go up here and select it off the menu, right? It automatically should snap to the intersections. If not, you can turn those on. Click here, come down here, click. We're going to go up 0.5. Come back this way, 0.5, and then we're going to go up 0.75 more. Hold on. Yes, 0.75, and we're going to come over here. By the way, it will snap to this point here. Click right here. You can actually type this in. Type in PER. And enter, and click on that line. What that means is snap to a perpendicular line, and then come down here and close it. Right click, enter. All right, so I'm not done yet, obviously. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take this vertical line right here, and I'm going to offset it 2. Offset, type in 2, enter. Click on this line, and then click here, enter. Now I'm going to offset this bottom line here. I need to offset this 0.75. So offset 0.75, enter. I'm going to click on this line and go up with it. Click, enter. Now I'm going to trim that line. Okay? Now over here I have to put the top block. There's a block. If you look at the isometric in your book, there's a block here that's on top. So I'm going to draw a line from here, go up here like this, come over this way, 1.5. Again, I'm showing you something new here. When I come down, type in PER, enter, and that line will snap perpendicular to the previous line. Right click, enter. That looks like, yeah, that's the front view of this. Okay? Again, you're probably going to have to watch this video, a few times. So don't let that worry you. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is, you see this intersection point right here, and this one, and this one, and this one. I need to project all of those over here. Okay, so watch how I'm going to do that. Type in L, enter. Now I don't need to do the bottom line because it's already there. But I need to do this one. Enter. And repeat that for every intersection. See how I'm projecting over? Click. Projecting all these lines over. Okay, that's all I can project over because this one's already over there. Okay? Alright, now, starting in this corner right here, though, I need to draw a line that's that goes up vertically like this. Actually, it doesn't go to this line, it goes to this one. Okay, it's going to be that step. So watch this. Be careful here. We'll click right here. I'm going to skip over that one and go to this one. Right click, enter. Okay, so that's the length of my line right there. I skipped over this one and I clicked on that intersection point right there. Now I want you to offset this line 0.5 right here. Enter. All right, so let's see what we got here. This comes up here to this step here. We go over 0.5. Now I'm going to draw a line from here. Actually, I think this line here is confusing me now at this point. I'm just going to delete this line here. Sorry about that. So I'm right here, and I'm on this step, so actually I think I can delete this one too, because I've already got this line in here.
So delete those lines?
Yeah, delete those two lines. See, we have a line here that's this 0.75 from here to here. Don't y'all do this. I'm going to do a list to check. If you type in list and enter, and you select this line, enter, it should tell you the length of it right here. It's 0.75, which is what it should be. Okay, so it should be 0.75. Then we're going to draw a line from this point, come over to this point. Then we're going to go up. This is going to be 0.5. And then we're going to come this way. 0.5. And then we'll come back down here. Type in PER for perpendicular. Click here and then come back over here like this. Okay, I realize that was a lot. So what it's going to look like is this, though. What's confusing are the L's. They're not the same. This L and this L that we're making here, they're not. You have to be careful. Okay. That's what was confused. That was what was confusing me earlier. Was the L shapes. All right. So let's see. This dimension is 1. All right. So right here, type in L. Click here, and I'm going to come over 0.5. Go up. Type in PER. Enter. Click on that line, come over here, click, come back down here, click, come over here, click. Right click, enter. Okay, we almost have this. I'm going to use this line right here, and I'm just going to click on it and drag it over like this. Enter. See how I stretched that line? I'm going to do it again. Watch. That's another way of, you can click on the line, and you can click on this rectangle right here, and you can actually stretch it. And then click again, enter. And I'm going to trim, enter, oops, sorry. trim, enter, click on this line, and then trim this off. Now, I just need to show one more line. I erased it earlier, but this is that lower step on the right side. This is the lower step on the right side view here. We have two sets of steps. One that comes down to the front plane and another set of steps that comes down the right side plane. Trim here and here. The right side was tough, but that's what it looks like right there. Okay? Now we need to do the top view. If my phone quits cutting off here. Alright. Top view goes up here. Alright, so type in L. We're going to click here. And I'm going to come over 2. And then I'm going to go up 1. And then I'm going to go 1 again this way. And then I'm just going to box it in the rest of the way. Right click, enter. So this is what I have. That's what I have so far. Now I need to get, okay, so I have 2 sets of steps here I need to worry about. So the first set, remember how I was projecting lines up earlier? Find the intersecting points and project up. Click on all these points. There's 1. And then click on this point here. So let's trim this one. That's the lower step on the right hand side. That's that step right there. Okay? The reason I projected this up is because I got to form the block on top, which it has a depth of 1 inch, so I can offset this 1 inch. And then trim. Okay, I have to add 1 more step here. If I offset this line a 1/2 inch, 0.5, enter. Okay, so this was not an easy one to do. This was a tough one. And it's just exercise 5-4. Okay, I'm going to delete all my construction lines now, so you can type in E. Another thing you can do is type in C, enter, and just cross. Enter. Type in E, enter, type in C, enter, and then click, enter. You want to see that again? Watch this. E, enter, C, enter, click, cross over, click, enter. E, enter, C, enter, click, drag your rectangle, click, you're crossing over, enter. All right, so now you have something that looks like this. I'm going to come put some dimensions in here now. All right, so it looks to me like I used a datum dimensioning. I clicked here, here, here. Okay, I'm just checking what I did. All right. So datum dimensioning, we have to pick a datum point. All the other dimensions are from this point. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have to change layers?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. I just went back to check my drawing earlier. This is my datum point, so all the dimensions are referenced from this point. Same thing here. Okay. And so I'm just looking at all of them to see what I have. All right. So click on linear. Remember, we want to keep our spacing about the same. Oops. See, Dominique told me to change layers. She's right. Sorry about that. We want to click on this layer right here. Make this one active. Okay? And now we're going to dimension from here to here. Click. Then we're going to dimension from here to here. Come down. Make sure you keep your spacing consistent. Click. Then we're going to dimension from here to here. Come down. Click. Now we're going to dimension going up. Here. Here. Come over. Click. Now you see why I moved this one so far over, right? Okay, all I did was select the point. Now, if you want to move this 0.75 down here in the middle of this, sometimes you can, sometimes it's a little difficult. Click on it. Click on the blue box. You have to hit F8, turn F8 off, the ortho off, and move this over so that it's in the middle. Hit Enter. Now, I got to move these over some. Just click on it until the little blue box appears. Click on the little blue box and drag it. Hit the escape button a couple of times. Okay, let me make sure I have these dimensions. I do.
Yep.
So now we have to add these here. Okay? And I want to keep these dimensions lined up with the dimensions I show here. See the spacing? I'm going to make sure this 0.5 lines up with this 0.5. This 1 inch lines up with the 0.75 and so on. So watch how we do this. Okay? So I'm going to select see that first dimension. Okay. I was looking at something. Click here and here. See how the little line appears? You have to come down and touch off on this one. Okay, watch this. Zoom in, click, click. Come down and touch off on this dimension. You'll see that phantom line there, or I should say inferred line. Click. And now we have from here to here. Come down, touch off on this one. Click. And one more to place. Here, here. Click. Alright. Now, I also put a dimension up here and then 2 here. Alright, so let me do that. So go to linear. Now over here now, I want to make sure these dimensions line up with these two. So click here, here. Touch off on that dimension. You'll see the line appear. Click. Click here. Here. All right, now I'm just going to make my drawing look a little bit neater. Oh, that's okay. I'm happy with that. You should label this. So go to text up here. I'm going to stay in the dimension layer. That's fine. Make it 0.5. Text height. Rotation angle is 0. Enter. I'm going to type in EX5-1. Enter. Enter again. That seems kind of big, so I'm going to scale that down. That's kind of big. Scale, enter, click on this text, enter, click in the middle of the text and type in 0.5. We're going to make it half the size. That's good right there. I'm going to copy this text, put it right there, escape, hit the escape key, DD edit. I can edit this text here. This is 5-4. All right, so if you were going to plot this, this is pretend this is my border. You should get a habit of bringing your borders in. Actually, I'm not going to use that layer. I'm going to use the default layer, layer 0. And right now I'm just going to put a temporary border here.
What?
Okay, so we could plot this. Just pretend this is your border, right? Let's see how it looks. Because sometimes if you plot this, sometimes things are missing because of the color. Select PDF. Come down here and make sure letter is selected. Select window. And click this point. And then click this point. Center the plot. Preview it. I think I can see that if you, I don't like the green too much, but if you send that to me, that will be sufficient. Okay, I realize we've covered a lot here tonight. By the way, you need to enter that and select OK if you're happy with the plot. And name this, when you name this, I would name it EX5-1-EX5-4. Save. And if you want to turn this around, now this is the rotate key here, right? So what did we learn new tonight? Well, we learned how to use construction lines. And then drawing lines, that was not new. We know how to draw a line. And then we placed some dimensions. Now what was hard about this was this one. This one was a hard part. What I would do is I would look at the isometric that's given to you, and I would try to plan out what your views should look like. Now you'll notice that we have no hidden lines here. One of the ones I'm going to give you to do does have a hidden line. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be nice to you because we have several of these we have to do. Several of them. So what I'd like for you to do is do a exercise 5-2 and then 5-3. Notice we didn't create any isometric drawings at all here. Well, thank you for putting up with me tonight, because if you ever had a 747 parked between your two ears, you know how I feel tonight. I have a migraine that's really bad. So I'm sorry if it didn't come out as good as it normally would, my videos, but I hope if you go back and watch this several times, I'm going to come around and help you individually tonight. But I would like for you to try to do the ones I just assigned. They're going to count 25% as well. The two I just assigned. I'm not going to assign you any more right now. You have to do these two. They count 25%. Then the ones I just assigned you count 25%. And then I have to assign you 4 more. So we're going to be working in this area a little bit for a while until you get used to this. Okay? Any questions or concerns? as far as the video here? Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to post this right now?
I certainly am.
Yeah.
I'm going to post it right now. And I can show you how to get into it if you don't know how to do it with Google Drive. My wife makes YouTube videos for me. I'm not quite sure how, because I haven't watched her do it. It might be pretty easy. But I save it to Google Drive. And all you need, I can tell you what your VCCS email needs to be in order to access it, okay? Or what you should type in. So come see me, because all I have to do is go in Assist, and I can find your email there. All right, so let me see how this video turns out. I'm going to save this to EX5-1-EX5-4. That 5-4 is something else. What was confusing about 5-4 is the steps. They all kind of merge together when you have a migraine. They just all kind of... All right, so I'm going to stop the video now. So thank you, and I hope the video helps you.